Hi, Jamie and Marla here, jamieandmarla.love and passionprovokers.com.
Yeah, we're here to talk about an article I think is really important, something we've been talking about for several weeks now in different aspects, and it's about sexuality and what's happening in our culture today.
Yeah, it's interesting. Several different articles relating specifically to why there's a decline in young people having sex. But the article that we read from the Atlantic,
Atlantic.
what actually speaks specifically, I mean, not specifically to young adults, but to all demographics, all generations.
Right, and there's a basic huge decline in sexual activity and connection that we've been hearing about from our clients and from seeing the articles. And it's very fascinating. In Japan, they're actually beyond the sustainable rate to keep their population going. So literally in 100 years, the Japanese will have a completely different culture. It'd be immigrant based, and it's just a very interesting thing that's happened, and the same thing is happening here in the United States. And it's starting with the millennials, really, but in all, like Marla said, in all areas, everybody's having less sex, which is an important part of, the sexual emotional loop, right? That connection between us that keeps us bonded and together.
That symbiotic thing that says, usually, this isn't always the case, but women desire more emotional connection and men desire sexual. When you have that flowing, when the emotional comes, I feel more connected and desiring to be sexual. So there's that symbiotic relationship, but that seems to be decreasing, and they're showing that there's obviously one of the ones that makes sense to us when we hear about it is pornography and the accessibility of it and all the different ways.
And it's a way, and I think what happens with that is it's a training of your body and mind to be turned on and connected with something that's digital, it's easy, there's no relationship quality to it, and then masturbation completes that cycle, and that limits the desire for going out. And the article that we post here at the Atlantic comes to that same conclusion.
And then the other thing that they are pointing at, there wasn't a lot of clear research on it yet, is social media. How that is creating a decline in the desire for sexual and emotional connection. In fact, an article I read not very long ago said that pretty soon we won't even as couples be getting our dopamine from each other because we're getting it from our devices, our social media, the likes we get, whatever that looks like. And so to us, when we read that and we combine it with this article, it feels very much like it's just really easy to do that and have kind of more surfacey kinds of relationships than to actually have to work on a relationship.
Right, to bond and connect. And so, and it doesn't matter, I don't think, how many times a month you have sex, as long as you are trying once a week to be connected in that way. Everybody has their own pace in these things, and we're certainly not prudish about it, but I think there needs to be an effort made in every relationship. So some of the tools we have here at our YouTube is the number one is checking in, and there's a whole video we have on that, how to do it. Do it gently together and learn how to do it kindly, and it's a very powerful tool. And I think one of the topics to check in about is about sexuality. What's going on? What are you feeling?
What we find is most of our client couples, they are not having the conversation. They avoid the conversation, and we know because we've done that ourselves. And it's important that you're talking about it. What is it? What does it look like? One of the things we do at the end of our 10 sessions is that we go over goals, and one of the goals is sexuality, and we recommend so we want to have up to however many times a month of sex. 74% of marriages, 74% report that they had not had sex in the past month with their spouse.
So everybody's getting a little less. Don't be frustrated if you're one of those. It's fixable. Another tool on our YouTube channel here is the feeling wheel. 2 factors that are leading up to this are the ability to express emotion comfortably together, being able to share that just emotional connection, and then that bonding sexuality wise and connecting and touching. There's not very much healthy touch in our culture, and we need to, if you want your marriage to be the best and most energizing for you, have the most make the most of the time you have together, you have to make these efforts. It's, you know, it's interesting to actually have to say this, right? Because in many people's minds it ought to come easy, but that's not true. Relationships aren't always easy.
Yeah, and Jamie was talking about tools. A specific tool for touch is 20-second hug.
Yeah.
Just have a 20-second hug without expectations, and it changes how you feel. It creates the oxytocin between you, which is the love bonding chemical.
Yeah, and you need these things in your relationship. So we went all along here, but know that there's tools here. Look at the feeling wheel, practice exchanging feelings, saying what you're feeling at the moment, and learn check-in. Take a look at how that works, and just make a practice of it a couple times a week to communicate and connect, and take advantage of those 20-second hugs.
And Jamie loves them. I do too. I do too. All right, you
See you
guys
next time.
take care.